Yo, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the channel. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is David, and today I am going to be showing you guys on how to create an automation to send emails and SMS to clients and prospects when they don't book on an appointment with you. Now, here's the thing. I've honestly tried to figure this out, and I've tried to go online, go on a YouTube tutorial to see how this is built, but I could not find any video. So essentially what I'm gonna do is show you guys how to actually create automations inside Go High Level and Zapier to essentially make sure that when someone fills out a form but does not go on to the second step of booking on the appointment, it sends out emails, sends out SMS to make sure that it's essentially telling them, like, look, we saw that you filled out the form out, you have some interest, why not just hop on an appointment, get something scheduled, and go from there. So without further ado, let's stop talking. I'm gonna get straight into it. So we are in Go High Level. All right. So essentially what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna be showing you on how to actually navigate this, do this whole thing, show you guys how to set up the whole automation. I know it's pretty long, but I'll get to that in a sec, and then show you guys how to also build this in Zapier as well if you don't have a Go High Level account. All right. So first is this. So what we're gonna do here is, you see how there's a type form, two type forms. Obviously there's two type forms that I have, and then a Facebook lead form submitted. So whenever someone, let's say submits a Facebook lead form, right? Or submits a type form, right? What it's gonna do is essentially come here, create a contact, right? So it's gonna create a contact and then put it into the system of Go High Level. Then what it's gonna do is wait 20-ish minutes, because obviously, some people take about like 5 to 10 minutes to essentially look at their schedule, see what they can do. Do they have any plans coming up, any conflicts at the time that they schedule. So obviously you want to make sure that you give them that allotted time, but you can also give them like 20-30 minutes, like extra 10 to 20 minutes if they ever come back. Most of the time, a majority of the time, probably not. But what you want to do here is essentially just do everything in terms of this, right? So you're gonna wait 20 minutes, and if they don't book on an appointment, they either go here. So ignore this, right? Obviously I just put this here as well, just in case, but typically they're gonna go into two routes. The first route is if they don't book on an appointment. Second route is if they do book on an appointment, nothing happens. End, right? So let's say they don't book on the appointment. So, after that, they filled the lead form out, they filled the form. Then we're gonna come into here, and then now we're able to send them a email saying like, hey, looks like you missed something, contact name. And you could be like, hey, blah, blah, this is blah, blah, Riley, blah, blah, and then book here. And then you're just essentially sending them this. And then attachments, what you can do here is actually show them that they haven't booked an appointment. So you can send them an attachment just like this, saying like, hey, looks like you didn't book an appointment. That like that. Or you can also, and you don't have to really worry about this. This is just more so like a handle, but you want to make sure that you create something like this. You can easily go into Canva and just do this yourself, but yeah, it's really simple, right? You could just do this, your logo, and then just pretty much go from here. Simple message to keep it personalized. After you do that, you're gonna come into SMS, and then you can essentially just create this, right? Hey, Riley, with the sendees here, blah, blah, blah. We saw that you didn't book on and blah, blah, and then just pretty much put in your appointment booking link here, right? Once you do that, now what you're gonna do is essentially have them nurtured, right? So if they still don't do it, right? If they still don't book on an appointment, what you're gonna do is essentially just, keep them in the email, nurture pipeline, right? And here's the thing with this, right? Let's say someone does book an appointment after they get this email. You can easily just come in, and then I'm not too sure like if there's an automation to essentially handle that. I'm sure there is, but this is just more so like, obviously some things you have to do manual, right? So what you're gonna do is just come here, wait 1 day, which is 24 hours, and then pretty much have them into like a whole email, SMS, nurture pipeline, right? And once that is essentially done, right? Pretty much you can tell and you can see if someone does book on an appointment or not. They can either go into the opportunities tab and Go High Level if you are using Go High Level, and I'll get to that in a second, or you can just come into your Google Calendar and see them being booked on, right? So if you guys just want to copy me in the emails that I have, this is specifically for my business, but if you guys want to copy me and just kind of make it more personalized and customized in terms of your guys' standard, you guys can. I put everything as attachments, so I just put like my handle in here so it makes it more professional, but you guys can just copy my email. So this is my email, right? After that's done, you can pretty much come to SMS, which is here, wait another 24 hours, email, you can copy this, right? And then we'll come down here again, SMS, and then wait again, email, right? SMS, and then email again, right? So you guys can copy this, and then SMS, email, SMS, email. I know it's a lot. All right, so it's literally a 10-day nurture sequence right there. SMS, and then yeah, I know it's a lot. We got like 3 more days. So like email, SMS, email, SMS. Yeah, I know. Email. I know it's and you guys might be wondering, this is pretty much unnecessary. It's really not. I mean, at the end of the day, the more you get, you can always reply stop and it'll stop it, but you want to make sure that you do your best as much as possible to try and get them on your schedule, right? So that's essentially the whole thing. If they don't book on an appointment. So once they do, right, what you're going to do is you're going to come into the opportunities tab, right? So essentially, there's going to be an opportunities tab where you're going to come into opportunities. Obviously, I'm not going to go here since, I don't want to leak any sensitive data, but you want to make sure that there's always like opportunity tabs. For example, like demo booked, people who haven't booked on, no shows and stuff like that, right? So typically, Typeform doesn't really have that in Go High Level. And you might be wondering, what does that mean? Well, sometimes Typeform, when the contact information is in Typeform, it doesn't really strictly go into Go High Level. So that's why you need Zapier as well. So what you want to do here, essentially, right? And here, let me show you exactly how everything works in Go High Level, for sure, first. So we're going to come back into, I believe it was form filled, no appointment booked. And then since you guys already saw like the whole email system campaign, I'll show you guys how this works, right? So you want to come here, Facebook lead form, and then you want to make sure that your page is, your Facebook page form is your lead form, save trigger, condition, you come here is, build your own. When appointment is not booked, last appointment is empty. And then when appointment is booked, last appointment is not empty, right? So if it's empty, when the appointment's empty, meaning people didn't book on, then it's going to go into this route. If the appointment is not empty, when the people did book on, it's going to go into this route, right? So we're just going to say option there, and then that's pretty much it, honestly. And then you guys can just customize this, obviously saying like wait 20 minutes instead of waiting 20 hours and then stuff like that, right? So now we're gonna come into Go High Level. So obviously for the purpose of this video, I'm not gonna go into the second form, just this one form here, right? So what you want to do here is click this, obviously connect your credentials. So I'm gonna edit here, and then obviously this is how it's gonna work. So it's gonna be your new entry, your account, configure your Ascendius, like what form you're using, and then just test it. Obviously we can continue with select records. Then you're coming to lead connector. So lead connector is essentially going into Go High Level. And then once you do that, you're gonna come into add update contact, right? Once you're done with that, you're gonna come into account, connect your account, configure, and then put their full name and stuff like that, and then test. Once you've done that, you wanna make sure that it's delayed for 1 hour, because obviously on here, I know it's 20 minutes, but you always want to make sure that you check and stuff like that. And then obviously you give them like an hour before it actually goes into like the opportunities tab, right? So for example, if it goes into the, let me see. So the opportunity tab, which is, let me see. I believe the opportunity tab is form submission, no appointment, right? So that's the opportunities tab. After an hour, it's going to go into here. And once it goes into there, that's when it's going to essentially send out those email campaigns and SMS campaigns if they haven't booked on an appointment, right? So essentially, that's really it. I mean, it shouldn't be that too hard. And if I show you guys how the other automations work out as well, is if we come into form submission, no appointment, you guys can see that, when the opportunity is created in pipeline, sales pipeline, Ascendius, pipeline stage, form submission, no appointment, then you guys can essentially just do this all over again. So you might be wondering, oh, like you have to create another email campaign. No, you could just essentially just copy and paste everything. Like essentially just copy all this, or copy the whole thing from the other automation into this automation, just connected, right? And then stuff like that. So really simple, same thing, just book here. They can always book here, and if they, let's say this, right? If I just come here and then I pretty much, let me see. Well, if I come here and then I just come here, whenever they book on an appointment or whenever they click the here thing, and I just copy and paste it, brings them over to here, and then they could just book on here and stuff like that, right? So really simple, not too hard, very, very, very easy. And yeah, that should be pretty much it for the whole video. I mean, it's not too hard to understand, but other than that, that should be it. All right, guys, so that's going to be the end of the video. Hopefully this video was very helpful for you guys. If you guys need anything from my side, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. And without further ado, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.